Well, happy Earth Day. It's April 22nd, 2021. Ranger fans, we are still reeling from a loss. We lost 6-1 to the Islanders. It was probably the biggest game of the season. And hey, we were in it for about 20 minutes. It seemed like we were wired in, we were locked in, playoff style hockey. Tremendously exciting. I'll be the first to say that a couple Modelo Negras before the game had me pretty toasty before the game. So I was wired in watching this first period. And I just wasn't, I hadn't been screaming like that in a couple years now. So it's actually, well, last year we had some games that were huge and exciting, like Mika, 5 goals. We were in this for about 20 minutes and it was still super fun. Like the final result, obviously not what we wanted. We got spanked in the third period. Everything fell apart. Hey, it was fun while it lasted. We got a little glimpse of the future, hopefully. Nonetheless, Connor McNeilis, he's here. I'm your host, Jake Albee. We're talking episode, what is it, 5 or 6? Are we on 6 now? Or
I think we're on 6 now. We're moving.
Episode 6, Every Ranger Goal podcast. Coach Connor McNeilis, how are you doing, buddy?
It's all right. I mean, definitely a tough blow. In the very minimal playoff chances they had, I think Money Puck had them going at about 20, a little under 21% going into that game. And with the loss there and the Bruins win, they're now below 7%. So it's a big blow to that. But look, it's kind of what you expected. I mean, Islanders kind of led the chances in the first period, just some on their natural stat trick page here with the expected goals and the Corsi. Islanders expected goals. They pretty much dominated in that department. As typically what happens when a blowout happens in the third period, the leading team kind of sits back a little bit. So the Rangers had a bit of an edge in the third, but not a whole lot. It was like you said, it was a fun game, and look, the Islanders. We've had a lot of success this year, and I think a lot of credit goes to Barry Trotz. And, I think Palmieri and Zajac are kind of fit in well there for that team. Those are good ads for them, especially with the loss of Anders Lee. But it was a tough one to kind of, you were hoping for to keep it a little more competitive, and it kind of just wheels fell off in the third period. But, it's once again, it's expectations. It kind of just comes down to it once again when we talk about it. I'll bring up this little stat I have right here with, we keep talking about Rangers 1-goal games. So this is a little stat just kind of adding to that with Artemi Panarin. Rangers 19, 10, and 6 with Artemi Panarin in the lineup. They're 4 and 7 without him in the lineup. And then if you think about that, the Rangers are 4, 8, and 6 in 1-goal games. So, you think about that 4 and 7 without Panarin in the lineup. We keep talking what a difference 2 to 3 more wins would be. And 5 points would put them still right in the mix of this. 2 more wins and a shootout loss would put them right in the mix of this.
They had us believing. It was right there. It was that game. They took that game. It is what it is. But
yeah, it's frustrating that, and in any other division, they'd be in at playoff spot right now. They're in the best division in hockey. I think you got to give them a lot of merit with that. But those 1-goal games, those little mistakes, and something that this team's just got to solidify. We talk about they need to solidify that third pair. We'll kind of transition to that with Jones, making his debut tonight. You got to be excited about that. Obviously, Trouba comes out of the lineup.
Like, that was the turning point in the game on that Matt Martin hit on Trouba. He comes out of the game, and it just looked like the only guy who knew how to respond on defense is Brendan Smith, pretty much in Jacob Trouba's spot. He was playing everywhere, and he was all over the ice. So a rough night for Boteto, but it just as a group, the Rangers, I guess, see Trouba as one of the leaders. So to see him go down, they just didn't know how to respond to that, and it was just over.
It's a great point. Their vulnerability, like their lack of depth on the blue line, got shown because then that third pair had, Boteto had to play more. Smith had an up and down night. That penalty was shit. He made a bad play at some point in the second. That was, he responds to the goal. He was kind of all over the place. I can appreciate the effort. Boteto is just not good. And then,
I feel so bad because I want to like Anthony Boteto. I mean, all of us are. Anthony. I almost call him Nick every time. I don't know why. No, but Tony B, like, he had that 1 goal and we had the moment. Like, if he almost escaped the year just without being exposed too much. He was rough the other night, but that was infuriating on that goal when you just kind of see him standing there. I'm sure he's gassed and tired, but this is the NHL, man. Like, if it's just he was standing up and not getting to the spot, and I forget who scored. Was that Bailey? I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. There's too many goals. Couldn't keep track.
It was just a shame. And you kind of saw his face after. He knew it. He knew that he was going to get lit up probably on the bench and on the internet. So it sucks. But anyway, back to Zach Jones. Yeah, I feel like I have no idea what to expect. You probably have seen him play much more than I have. And so as more of just an NHL guy, we talked about it a little bit last week, but is he being set up to succeed by being paired with Libor Hájek tonight?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? If he gets shelled in his first game and people get on him, it's like, hey, you got to look who you're playing with. Another guy, Libor Hájek, who's just like, we keep going on. The NHL experiment's over with him. He's
over, right? It seems like they're playing him, but how much more can you really? I guess Hájek, it's fine on a team like this in a year like this. Sure.
The
guys that you could be playing at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing. And, you got, Tarmo down in Hartford, who had an assist today on another Morgan Barron goal, who's doing well in Hartford. So there's guys kind of coming up. You see a guy like Barron and Tarmo, you kind of would like to see them replace Howden and Hájek in this lineup. At least there's no reason to me not to give him a shot. Now, maybe the only contingents there is Hartford's having a good year, probably going to make the playoffs. So that's exciting. And you don't want to mess with that. You do want to reward them for, being down there and all that. So there's a little bit there. We talked about Jones a little bit last week. He's a good skater. He's a skill guy, offensive puck moving defenseman. Defensively, I think he's grown a little bit. He still needs to probably put on weight at this level. He's 5'10", listed at 172. You probably need to get, 10 pounds of muscle come the summer, but he's a young kid, 20 years old, will be 21 come the fall. Next season he'll be 21. I'm excited to see him play. I mean, hopefully, there's some talk of him getting some power play time on that second unit, taking Trouba's spot. And Lafreniere in practice got some shots at that too. I think that's where he's going to thrive. I've said it before. I love Keandre Miller. I don't really think he should be on the power play. I'm not sure he necessarily has that complete offensive upside. Now he gets away with so much because he's so big and his reach and skating is so good that it helps him.
Very underrated. I feel like, Fox gets all the love, obviously, because he does every single thing so well. But Keandre Miller, for his size, it's no secret, I think, that his stick handling skills for a defenseman are great. And he makes some of these plays that are almost on Fox's level a little. Fox, does something unbelievable every single time. Every single time he's on the
I know. He's great.
Miller's been so impressive.
He has. And I just think there's just, I just don't think he needs to be on the second power play unit right now. I'd rather get Heedle or Loff or some of these younger guys. I think you can do the 4 forwards and 1D with Trouba. Now that there's, Trouba's probably going to be out a couple games here. So we thought it looks like they set upper body, looks like concussion. That's where I'd assume. I thought it was a clean hit, by the way, just going into that too. Finished, I think he hit his head on the boards, which kind of just caught him off guard. I thought it might have been his feet too. Brandon Cohen pointed that out. He might have hit his knees, but I think it was his head probably. So we don't know how long he's going to be out. I know he's a big component on this team, from a leadership standpoint, and I think the organization sees him that way. And he's been very good of late. He didn't have the best start to the season. I know we've talked about his contract before, but he's been good. He's been very, very steady for this team. I think just a quiet leader for them. So they'll miss him. But yeah, I think with, getting back to the original point with Zach Jones, I'm excited to see him play. This is going to be since the start of the 2017 season, Hockey Stat Miner, shout out, Mika. He said that this is the 20th Ranger to make their debut 17-18 season. And if you want to talk about the letter since February 18th, 18 guys. So another guy that can make his debut as a Ranger. That's how you build. Let's see what we got for the final 10 games. It's experiment. Talk about experimenting. Looks like the lines are going to be shaken up a little bit too. Looks like Lafreniere is going to get a shot with Booch and Mika.
He flipped him with Kreider, and
yeah.
A lot of people are saying Kreider should be on the fourth line right now.
He hasn't been great. I think he's fine on that third line. I think a little stability with Heedle, Kakko, and Kreider, a little bit more of a veteran, in that mix. I actually think that could work. I think that could be a really good line going forward. We'll see if they all pay off together. You want to get Vatelli some more ice time, but look, I'm just gonna call it this. It's probably over. They're not making the playoffs, so let's have fun with it. Experiment. I want to see different line combinations. Let's call up some guys. Like, there's no reason to force anything here. And I think, hopefully management and Quinn are on the same page with that.
What I don't understand is, even if in a playoff race, right? Like this organization seemed to feel like they were, and
yeah.
But if we wouldn't be surprised where we are now. But even if you're in a playoff race, why is Boteto playing? I mean,
yeah, that's no excuse. No excuse.
Yeah, even if you think that's your best option, it's the same with the Blackwell argument. Blackwell on the power play, yeah, he keeps scoring goals, and that's the bottom line. But at this point, we don't need to see Blackwell on the power play if we're in a playoff race. Play the kids.
Shouldn't be there,
and we want to see the kids. So it's just weird. I wonder what they're evaluating. We'll see.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like, you wonder what goes through their heads, and obviously we don't know. We could only be skeptical. It's what we do. But I'm with you. No excuse for Boteto to even touch the ice in the rest of the season. Get Blackwell off the power play. He's been good. He's been a good find. His analytics have been good. He's a good player. I hope they keep him. I think he would be a perfect. We keep our comparisons are what we know, right? We think about that run from 11-12 to about, the 14-15, like that run specifically, like, fourth line, we talk about 13-14, like that, Brian Boyle, Dominic Moore, like those guys had 20, 25 points that year. Like, if you could have a fourth line guy who could do that, maybe slot up a little bit, a top 9 role, that's great. But that's what Blackwell is. Good. I'm happy for the guy. I hope he's on the team for another, few years here. And I think he's a good depth scorer, which is what you need. But realistically, if you're going to be successful going forward, you need the top guys to be your best players. He's not a top guy. And you need Lafreniere and Hedl and Kravtsov and Kakko. I mean, the list goes on and on. We got more guys, maybe Morgan Barron down the line. Like, you want to get these young kids with the high upside. You know what Colin Blackwell is. That's the thing, right? He's 27. Okay, he's going to, maybe in a good year, score 25 points, 30 points. That's great for depth. But, when Kakko could potentially be a 70-point scorer, Laf could be an 80, you want to see those guys in those positions to succeed and build their confidence up. So that's really all I'm asking for the rest of the season here. That's all I'm looking for. And if that's, if that's what's done, I don't care. They could lose all 10 games if that's what's done at this point. Let's just, part of the process. And those who keep saying this offseason, next year is the year where they take the jump.
And I think both of us would agree that when this team is ready to essentially be good, I think Rooney and Blackwell on the fourth line, that's money, man. I could see that.
Hell yeah, that's fine. That's good.
It seems like in the offseason, they're going to move on, hopefully, from Howden, unless they still love him. But I can see them also getting a little more grit just for the old time hockey's sake. They're probably going to get somebody who throws down just a little bit.
I mean, Rooney's good. Like I said, those are good, like 11, 12, 13 forwards. And that's fine. Like, you need that depth. And like, we even talked about, 13, 14 again, like, Carcillo would turn into a great pickup that year. He was a good player on the fourth line. And so like that, like, and he was rotating in and out of the lineup. So like, that's what it comes down to. Ideally, you have a young guy on that line and you have those two guys. And then they said, maybe as a 13th forward, you could sign a guy with a little bit more quote unquote piss and vinegar. I'm not sure who that is. But it kind of solidified, just add to that a little bit. We'll go from there. I'm not going to throw out any names right now. I have to do the research, but that's where it comes down to. So I think we're on the same page. I think most of Rangers fans are on the same page too. That's all we want going into the final 10 games here is just, let's see the kid play. And that's really our biggest expectations kind of going forward. I don't have any problem with that as long as that's the message. And just, experiment. That is the word of the week for me here, Jake. Speaking of, we talk about what expectations are. Rangers Twitter, always a fun time. You never really know what you're going to get on Rangers Twitter. We've kind of done this a few times now. What is Rangers Twitter freaking out, talking about, kind of doing everything in between this week, Jake? I know you have a few tweets we're going to pull up here.
The hot takes. Yeah, I asked Twitter a couple weeks ago if you have any Rangers hot takes. It's always entertaining to see what you folks will say. We're trying to keep this show interactive and fun because that's what the fandom is supposed to be, right? So
exactly,
open ask. And also, if you have any hot takes of your own, please leave them in the comments and share it. It might be in a future episode. Who knows? We're gonna have lots of fun stuff at the end of the season. Probably, we'll probably have some best of. Yada, yada, yada. All right. Rangers hot takes. Here we are. Asked it to Twitter. So Coringus McBasketball. So two impractical jokers references here. Brendan Smith isn't our worst defenseman. I believe the next one's similar. Yeah. So at Lindgren's face, Brendan Smith is actually pretty good. Hey, we've talked about this a couple times. Brendan Smith, if he's the best player on your team, on a good team, you'll take it. The question is what are the Rangers going to do with him? I think he's willing to accept probably less money.
Yeah.
Seems like a father figure almost to some of these young kids. So I like Brendan Smith personally. Some people hate him. Coach, I think you're kind of the same as me, right? You're in the same. You like him?
He's your 6th, 7th defenseman. If he wants to sign next year on a 1-year, $1 million deal with some bonus incentives, where he's your 6th, 7th defenseman, and maybe you could pair him on your third pair with Matt Jones, or I keep saying Matt Jones, excuse me, Zach Jones. Matt Jones is a kid I know. Zach Jones, or whether Lundqvist comes over next year, like if he's your 6th, 7th, and I think he understands that. And that's the biggest point. He knows his role. He'd be a leader on the team if he played 15 games or 82 games. And there's nothing wrong with that. So that's why I said it wasn't a big deal to me that they didn't trade him at the deadline. They want to bring him back on a 1-year deal, $1 million, maybe, 2-year deal, $900K kind of thing. I'm fine with it. I got no problem with it. He isn't bad. He's definitely come full circle since he got that, got waived a few years ago. And I'm happy for him. And he does seem like a genuinely good dude. And I think there's nothing wrong with having a guy like that around. So, yep, I don't even think that's that hot of a take. I think that's just kind of a logical take more than anything else.
Yeah, it is. Logical take city. I agree with that. Tyler Richard 93 says, despite a pretty deep prospect pool, the Rangers will get a veteran left-handed defenseman to play in the third pair next season, either via trade or free agency. Well, is Chara a free agent? They could always reach out.
Apparently they tried to get him.
Really? Before this last season?
Yeah, I know. Well, like this past season, I mean, they tried to get him way back when he was a free agent too. Yeah, Ty right for Blue Sea Bogs. Yeah, look, I think the Rangers once again have a lot of cap space. I think there's some very interesting options out there. Like, I think the Rangers could potentially start the season next year, just re-signing Smith. I know John Merrill's out there. I think could be a good pickup. We remember him from his time with the Devils. He's been a very productive third pairing defenseman pretty much his entire career. He was on that Vegas team that went to the Cup a few years ago. And look, if the Rangers really wanted to flirt with it and see what the hell happens, like I could see them starting next season. They get off to a good start. They're like, hey, we got to solidify this. Look, I'm just throwing this out to the universe. And I saw, once again, Hockey Statmeyer to throw this out. Matthias Ekholm in Nashville is a guy, he's got 1 year left. Like if next year was a year the Rangers decide, hey, we're fucking in this thing, let's go. It's this, it's January 22nd. We are, in second in the East. We're making a push. We really want to solidify it. Why the hell not? That next year's the time you can start doing rentals. So, I think there's a lot of options. Once again, the Rangers have the cap space. I think they could take advantage of a team. Nashville's one of them who have too many defensemen, or Minnesota's another one who too many defensemen come up for the expansion draft, and they can't protect them all. They don't want to risk losing them for nothing. Basically, there's options. It's a good call by Tyler. I think there's a lot. Once again, I think they're going to have a chance to do something. Whether it's expansion draft related or even into next season, they could solidify that spot.
Ekholm's a good player, and even fucking Gostisbehere. Let's see what happens with him, right? They should have claimed him.
I know. I would have. And next year is going to have 1 year left at 4.5. That's what it is. I take him. Why not? He can run this, be on the power play, limited minutes on the third pair. I don't see anything wrong with that either. So again, option.
Rescue him.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. At Paulie Nuts, I am incredibly disappointed in Kakko and trying to stay positive on Laugh as well, but I fear that they both aren't what they thought. Well, Paul, let's jump back from the ledge just a bit. Listen, I can understand being a little worried about maybe Kakko's confidence. The points aren't there. To me, Laugh has more confidence than Kakko almost at times, where he it's just the way you carry yourself, where Kakko's hardly ever barking at a referee or anything, where you're already kind of seeing Lafreniere step up more and speak for himself. And he hasn't really gotten pushed around or anything. So I'm not too worried, man. I think Kakko's pretty much exactly what you're saying, the evaluation that you have. He's going to be this creative guy who's a pretty much a monster along the boards, almost Nash-like along the boards, carries the puck well. I mean, he's doing so many little things well. Same with Lafreniere, who is a little more invisible. Well, I guess on a game-to-game basis, it depends on who he's playing with. But nonetheless, Kakko, he's doing good stuff. So how could you complain?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you get a second overall pick, you get a first overall pick. Expectations, you just got to know what you're, going into. I thought Kako was pretty awful last year. Like, he was not good. Probably should have been in the AHL, but I guess they had, they could afford to kind of have him there. He's been good this year, and I keep saying, like, I don't think he's going to be this 90-point scorer, but I keep saying Rick Nash. Like, that's who he reminds me of. Defensively, he's been better. He's great on the boards. He's a strong skater. He's not as fast as Nash was in his prime. We'll see if he can get there. He's, in year 2. There's been progress this year. His actual points, his analytics have been immeasurably better. Like he was one of the worst players in the NHL last year. That's how bad he was.
Would you say this year? Because he was minus like 20 something, and all the analytics were saying that he stunk it up. Would you say that he was game costing?
Last year, if you're going to base it off player eval stuff, he was like a sub replacement level player. So when you do, you see those charts, basically it's zero is the bar chart. So last year he was substantially negative. This year he's positive. And so offensively is good. His defensive game is about net negative, so about 0. That's where you want it to be for a guy like him. Once again, I could see him becoming this, perfect second line, 65 point guy. Could turn into a decent defensive player. He's going to be able to create, and you need some depth. Lafreniere, he's 18, or turning 19. Like, he's a kid, man. Like, everyone just relax. You got to give some guys some time here. I'm sorry he's not Connor McDavid. I don't know what your expectations were, but there's only one person named Connor McDavid in the world, okay? There's only one Sidney Crosby. Like, these guys are generational. Now that these guys are generational, I think Loff probably has a bit more offensive upside, like in skill and all that stuff down the line and playmaking ability, but we're good. We're good. And look, if you want to think long-term positivity, they haven't been as great in their ECLs. Kako going into his 3rd year next year. Maybe that next contract's a little cheaper than maybe we'd have anticipated. So it's, big picture. It's okay. Come off the ledge, Paulie. You're good.
Yeah, we'll be okay. We got plenty to look forward to. All right. Jake Oliver says second line center isn't a problem. Ryan Strome is actually good. The Rangers should use their cap space this offseason to fortify their 4th line and find a left D to play with Lundqvist next season. Yeah, I mean, Ryan Strome, it's this love-hate relationship Ranger fans have, and I think I like Ryan Strome again. I don't know. I agree with this take. Look, the role he's in, it's a lot, and he's one of the veterans on this team. Ultimately, if this team's going to succeed, they need more depth at center. But if Strome is your 2-3 center, that might be a successful team. Who knows?
Yeah, look, I've had my love-hate with him. I was at a game a couple years ago. I guess it was last year, actually, like 1920 season. Made an atrocious change, and the Rangers lost late to Columbus, and I was so angry. He's gotten better.
At the Shea goal where he
yes. Yeah, I was there too. We have a weird coincidence of being in a lot of games, even though we weren't there together. Look, I don't know. He proved me wrong, man. He's been really freaking good. I give him credit. Offensively, he's good. He's gotten better defensively. He's clearly a leader on this team. Look, he's good. He's been good. I'll take the L on that. I wanted to get rid of him before this past season. Look, there's some arguments to be made here. Like, what's your what are they going to do this offseason? Do they make a push for an Eichel or someone of that nature? Do they not? Do they go forward Ryan Strome? They apparently tried to trade him last offseason. No one really bit. They didn't have it. He's having an even better season this year. Do you sell high? That's the biggest thing here. Is Ryan Strome going to be better than what he is right now? Probably not, but he's been good. So how long is he going to be good? So, he's got 1 year left in this contract. You reward him with a 3 or 4 year deal. Now you're flirting. What do you do with Mika's contract? The thing is, Strome and Mika both up after next year. So I'm not sure you keep both. Do you keep one and say, okay, we're just going to, like you said, do you solidify the center depth and just, does Hedo take the jump? Do you get a good 4th line center? Like we talked about Dominic Moore was back in the day, something along those natures, like a veteran guy. I don't know, but Strome's been good. He's been good. I'll take the L on that. I bitched about him a lot. I think he's gotten better. He's still a little mind numbing as a player sometimes, but I don't have a problem with this take. Solidify the 4th line. Yeah, will Lundqvist be in the NHL next year? You might give them some time. Look, they had, the affordability they've given themselves with this defensive depth. They could put them in the AHL next year. And I don't have a problem with Lundqvist starting Ryan McDonough, that 10-11 season, he finally got called up, but his first 40 games he played in the minors where he was playing first line minutes. He was on the power play. Like, I don't mind that for Lundqvist either next year, just to kind of acclimate him. But as far as Ryan Strome, guys, right now, I'm not, hot takes. I don't know. These all seem like pretty logical takes right now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Especially, these are from a couple weeks ago. So maybe at the time, still they hold up.
But still, Strome's been good.
Yes. He has been very good. Quick question. If you can give me a condensed answer on this, just because I'm thinking about it now. What would be your evaluation of Hedl and what he could potentially be for this team?
Oh man, I really like Philip Hedl. Like, I really like him. He's got like all the tools. I don't know if his hockey IQ is where we want it to be, because he's got size, he's got speed. You see his hands sometimes. Oh, that's the thing too with the next few weeks here. I'd like to see Hedl's ice time maybe more than anybody. Lafreniere, Kakko, okay, I get it. I think Hedl's the guy I want to see at the ice time. I want to see Hedl. I want to see what Hedl could do if he plays 18 minutes a night. You know what I mean? That's where we need to figure out what he is. Is he your second line center? Does he have that peak? If you kept Mika and had him be your one, and Strome slide in your third. I like Hedl a lot. He has all the tools. Needs to put it together. He's been a bit inconsistent this season. He definitely has the ability to kind of, one game you're like, did 72 play tonight? And then you see him the next night where it's like 72 might have been the best player on the ice. Hedl's the guy more than Loff or Kakko that I want to see get more ice time, because I think he's a huge tool in what the next jump is and your evaluation on him. Do they trust him to be a top six center, or is he going to be a depth piece or maybe be moved in a trade? So I like him. He's got to put it together on a consistent basis. So to me, you need to get him 16, 17 minutes of ice time for the next 10 games. Let's see what he can do. That's really what it comes down to. Especially since he's been around the longest of all of them. And now, yeah.
It's season 4?
This is full season in the NHL, if you will. But he's been flirting around for 3-4 years. It's time to make the jump, and we got to see what he is. I like his ability. I like everything he does. I think he's such a good hockey player when he's on his game. But, consistency, the good players do it once in a while. The greats do it all the time.
That's right.
But, hot takes there. I thought they were a little more logical. That's okay, Ranger fans. I like when you're logical here. We'll jump into our final 2 segments as we usually finish off here. Random Ranger of the Week. Jake and I randomly pick a Ranger player who has played in the past here, who has played in under 100 games as a blue shirt. I'll lead us away here. This is a guy, okay, acquired at the 2007 trade deadline. They acquired him a trade, played 18 games for the Rangers. That's it. Finished up that 08 draft trade deadline, from the St. Louis Blues just for a 4th round pick, which was later traded back to the Rangers, who eventually selected Dale Weiss, oddly enough. This guy, I honestly have so little memory of him because he played for so little, but he actually had a good little points here. 8 points in 18 games. Defenseman on the blue line, number 55, Christian Backman. Do you remember Christian Backman?
Christian Backman. Oh my God. I got to pull up a picture of him because I think I'm trying to pick his face right now.
07, 08, Swedish guy. It was a 1st round pick, had a nice career in the NHL. And then he left at age 28 and just went back to Sweden. His underlying numbers, and they were kind of early on in those days, were actually were pretty good. And I just think it was probably a guy who's a little before his time as like an Anton Stroman kind of guy, but went on and played back in Sweden up until a couple of years ago. So Christian Backman, 18 games as a Ranger, and then he played in the playoffs, obviously, in that 07-08 year where they beat the Devils and then lost to the Penguins. A guy who I'll go back and watch highlights and I'm like, oh my God, I truly don't remember him. But hey, there it is. That's why he's a random Ranger.
Exactly. It looks like he was teammates with Henrik Lundqvist and Nick Lidstrom on Frölunda HC. Isn't that interesting?
Not bad. Not a bad duo right there. That's, to be paired up with. So it's not too bad.
So my guy is, okay, let's start with the draft. So we have a 2007 round 5, aka 135 overall, selected by the Colorado Avalanche.
Ooh.
He's still only 32. Oh my God. Okay. Well, he's currently the captain of the Providence Bruins in the AHL.
Oh, I have no idea who this is.
Number 28, Paul Carey.
Paul Carey! Oh, scored the Winter Classic, Paul Carey.
Yeah, Paul Carey, 7 goals, 7 assists in 60 games for the Rangers in 17-18. Paul Carey, man, he played a lot. 60 games?
I don't know. The guy's a career AHLer basically, and then the Rangers give him a shot that year.
I was just gonna say that team hot garbage. Hot garbage. Like
terrible.
All the there's so much talent. Not like later, not the oh my god. Hold on. Let me pull up that lineup.
Oh God. I'm gonna get like PTSD flashbacks.
I don't want to see it. But in 17-18, right, they still got Nash, or at least by the Winter Classic. They still got Zuccarello. Like they still got
So it's even funnier that like Carey was a guy in that lineup, and like I said, he's had a pretty good like AHL career. It just shows you how hard it is to kind of be a staple in the lineup. But yeah, he's only 32. Went to Boston College. Look, this is a hell of a career. He's played in 426 AHL games. Has 293 total points for points per game average of 0.69. Nice, but he's had a good career. So good for him if he's just kind of muscling it out. He has played 100 NHL games total. So obviously 60 of them with the Rangers. Rangers legend Paul Carey.
Rangers legend Paul Carey. I have that lineup from April.
Oh God,
2018. Let's just read them.
Oh God.
KZC. Kreider's advantage at Philip Hedel. Not bad there. Okay, whatever. We have Elias Anderson, Jimmy Vesey, and Matt Zuccarello on the second line. The third line is Kevin Hayes, Ryan Spooner, and Rangers legend Stephen Fogarty. Fourth line is Vlad Domestikov, Pavel Buchnevich. Thanks, AV. Appreciate that. You did plenty for Buch. And Matt Bolesky. And then the deep pair.
Matt Bolesky.
Stahl Pionk, Shea Rule, Gilmore O'Gara.
That blue line is oh my gosh. Abysmal. Look how far we've come, folks. Look how far we've come.
Poor Henrik Lundqvist in net for that game.
Gosh. That's a nightmare there. But
Paul Carey and Christian Backman.
Two good ones this week. I like it. Yeah, Paul Carey, you kind of just forget because that team is so forgetful. You forgot that he played 60 games and scored in the Winter Classic here.
With that angle on TV.
Yeah, I was there for that, and it was. I remember I've seen the highlight now. It's at that kind of weird angle. Yeah, they scored this too early, and I was sitting there. I'm like, oh, can we just blow this game out, and I could just continue to drink my my Jack Daniels that I snuck in so I can get warm. Of course, they have to go to overtime there. At kind of the end of that little run, so that season got miserable after that game. So, all right, here we'll finish up here, folks. Just spin a bit of a hit. The favorite, least favorite, overrated, underrated, favorite, least favorite. I think we got one this week, Jake, that's could stir up some feathers here, depending on our answers. We got Rangers jerseys all time. So Jake's wearing, I think, a beautiful one. It's not on my list, but I certainly thought about it. I do like that one. Rangers jerseys. Now, obviously, the Rangers have had their classic, kind of diagonal striping for a long time, but there's been some other variations of that in different jerseys. Shout out NHLuniforms.com if you're ever on that, if you ever just want to go and check out different kind of variations of the jerseys here. Overrated, underrated, favorite, least favorite. Overrated. Jake, would you like to start?
Sure. Overrated. I actually almost went these because I was trying to think of just an answer. Not that I don't like them. I actually really like these, but I needed a reason. And I have a reason for my actual answer. So I'm going to go overrated Stadium Series jerseys. I like them, but they're gimmicky. I get that it's kind of like Yankee stuff. But if you look at the Wolfpack jersey,
it's like the same thing.
It's the same thing, and the Wolfpack jersey is nicer. So
yeah, I agree.
I like the kind of chrome patch on the side. There's some cool things about it, but not enough red, white, and blue for a Rangers jersey, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a good pick there. Those stadiums, they said they're a little bit different. I get it. Like you said, they're just like very Wolfpacky. Like I said, I like the Wolfpack's jerseys. Like I think they have a good little they could have done a better job with it. I think that's pretty accurate. For what it is. Overrated jersey for me. This one I went back and forth with a little bit. I was trying to think of and come up with a hot take, but the Rangers blues and whites are honestly just so beautiful. I thought about trying to throw out just one of the basic ones and see if I could just piss a bunch of people off. But I was like, I can't actually say that to myself. I'd say overrated though. This is like a little bit like nitpicky. You said you talk about the Stadium Series. I think they could have gone with that. But overrated actually the 93 94 Rangers, when you look at their jerseys, those blue jerseys from the 90s where they kind of changed up. So from 90 to 96, they kind of changed up. Like there was no lacing and they had like the collar. I don't know. They're like almost like a darker blue than the Rangers' usual royal blue. And the striping pattern is different. I'm just not a fan of them. And maybe that's because I didn't truly grow up with them. But, obviously there's some nostalgia with that team. And the white jerseys have pretty much been the exact same. But those blue jerseys from that 90 era, before they kind of went back to the more traditional, like it's a bit of a darker blue. I don't love them. I do have a Leech one from back then that I bought off eBay, and I don't love it. It's just like a weird color. It's a weird darker blue, and the striping's different. And I know a lot of people love them because that's like the 94 blue jerseys, but I don't know. I don't think they sit as well as like the blues from before or after or now kind of thing. So I know it's a special era of Ranger hockey, but I don't love those blues.
Were those the blues that said New York, or no? That's a little later.
No, that was right before it, and I flirted with those too because I don't think those looked great. Pretty much like the 90 to 96 blue jerseys, which according to NHL uniforms, it's just like a little bit of a variation. We'll be sure we could tweet out the link and throw a visual up there for you. But that's my overrated. Simply because the era is great, but I don't like the jersey. Jump in here then to underrated. And listen, like, once again, options here galore. Underrated. Jake, who you got for underrated?
Underrated. Well, honorable mention, I'm going to say heritage jerseys. I love the heritage jerseys. I actually wouldn't mind if they were still around. I get they moved on, but I do really like them. That's an honorable mention, though. Underrated is going to sound weird, but underrated in a sense are the white jerseys, like the away jersey. The current.
You know what? That's a good pick. They are so beautiful,
those, man. I love them, and I think that slight change a couple years ago, where they were doing, I think the bottom. I'm trying to see here. Yeah, the bottom they didn't have, I think, as long of the striping you were talking about on the bottom.
There's a bit of a curve to it. It kind of fills out the jersey a little bit better. I know exactly what you're saying.
On the arm too. It's just
on the arm.
Rangers have some of the best jerseys in the league traditionally, so they're great, man. I love the white jerseys. We've gone through the best of times and the absolute worst of times in those white jerseys. Right? Whether winning the Stanley Cup in 1994. On home ice, which white jersey at home, not all the time, but I like
when they do it once in a while. Yeah, I was sitting next to a woman at a game years ago, and she's an older woman, probably in her early 60s, knew her stuff, loved the Rangers, and she was talking to her friend, and I had a conversation with her a little bit, and her friend was asking, didn't they used to wear whites at home, and the woman was talking, darks versus whites. I will say this is the argument I heard, and I kind of agree with it. The dark at home allows the fans to dress like the home team. Well, everyone has a white jersey, so it's not quite as like a home distinguished thing. But I do like I have just memories of afternoon games at the Garden where the Rangers decided to wear a white jersey. I think about Callahan's four-goal game against the Flyers in 2011. They wore whites then, so I like it once in a while too. That's a good pick. You take it for granted because those whites are gorgeous. Underrated here, like I said, a lot of options. Look, this is going to be this isn't my pick, but hot take, those Phil Esposito, with the Ranger logo straight in the middle. I kind of like them. I know they're revered and hated, but those whites or blues, a new version of those would kind of be kind of cool. If people know what I'm talking about. Just the Ranger emblem right here. They changed up the jersey completely. I don't think they're terrible. I know they got ripped a lot. My underrated is the 2018 Winter Classic. I love those jerseys, and I like I said, I like those Winter Classic jerseys you're wearing too. Those are great at the time, but those 2018 ones I thought they nailed. Could have been my favorite jersey they've ever did. It's a good jersey. Just the kind of the white logo of the white Rangers. It just looks good. It's clean. It's classic in that sense. I like them a lot. So my underrated is 2018. I wish they would, still bring these jerseys back once in a while, the reverse retro, those ones. I understand the one you're wearing now, those are Reebok Edge jerseys, so maybe they don't have the official rights to them or something. But the reverse retros, when they already switched to Adidas, or sorry, not the reverse retro, the 2018 Classics, that was already Adidas. I wish they would wear those once in a while. I don't see why they don't.
Yeah, they kind of hinted too that the reverse retros are going away. I guess I don't know. They said maybe it was just for the season, but Rangers kind of had a tweet that was you treat it as well, Lady Liberty or whatever. So it'll be interesting. But I agree. I think those 2018 Winter Classic jerseys are awesome, and I've been looking for one. I've been looking for a cheap one. I don't care if Shattenkirk's on the back.
I have a Zuccarello one. Yeah.
I can't seem to find too many nowadays because I didn't hop on the bandwagon at the time. I want it now. This is like this. Like I bought this way after the Winter Classic jersey.
Yeah, of course. I do that all the time with eBay and stuff. All right, to finish up here, so we'd like to finish on a positive note. So we'll go to favorite, least. We'll go to least favorite Ranger jersey of all time. We'll see if we can ruffle some feathers here. Jake, least favorite Ranger jersey of all time.
All right. Hopefully, I don't ruffle too many people's feathers, I think, with this pick. Only because it's from 1947 season. It's
these are terrible. Yeah, these are. I'm looking at it right now. These are not good.
Unrecognizable kind of Ranger logo. I mean, it's similar, same pants, same striping, but it's just it's almost like a basketball kind of small lettering and small numbers on the front, red number on the back. It is so funny when you look at it. In retrospect, how much they've just gone back to the original and then kind of shied away and then went back to the original.
Back to it, yeah.
So I wonder if it's going to be a big change again. If they're ever going to, they shouldn't, because the tradition is people love, but
it's like the Rangers are kind of almost like this Mets jersey I have, like the shirt I'm wearing, kind of like like in a curve on the front, and they actually had the number on the front. They're awful. They only went for them for one season, and they didn't do it for a while. Yeah, it kind of looks like a football, a basketball jersey, like the numbers on the front. It just doesn't seem to work for a hockey jersey. That's a good pick, actually. A bit of a throwback. Like I said, I'm not sure how many of our listeners are around for that. I can't imagine many here. I'll go with my least favorite here. Maybe this is a bit of a hot take. I don't know. I don't like the reverse retro jerseys this year. I thought they were a big letdown compared to the original Liberty jerseys. And I love the white Liberty jerseys too. I wish they made the reverse retros white. I think it would have been cooler because that would have been super niche. It's just like we talked about it. It's almost as if they just kind of forgot to finish the jersey. That's how I feel.
You just want the red sleeves, damn it. That's all.
That's all I want. Like you look at the old Liberty jersey, and I have a ENYRG Liberty jersey. Like, give me those red sleeves, a little bit more silver. Like they could have done some trim on the bottom if they wanted to. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. Like I was so excited with the Liberty jerseys come back because it's an era that I really remember well. That's when I grew up loving the Rangers and falling in love with them. I don't know. I don't like them.
They totally adjusted them.
They adjusted the lettering with the coloring because you could not read the letters that first game they wore them.
And they're not going to sell those. So they're not going to resell anything. It's just so funny that if you splurge and then they just don't know how it looks on TV. Good on you guys. I don't know who approved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seriously. Come on, marketing, PR. I'm not sure who's in charge of that, but we'll finish with a positive note. A lot of jerseys to choose from. Jake, what is your favorite Ranger jersey of all time?
I'm going to be boring. I got to just go with the home one because it's just the oldest, most traditional. I think the shadowing is awesome. I think they're the nicest jerseys. I like other jerseys around the league, but there's something about the numbering that just I love. I think it just pops the most. I actually don't really like jerseys without the shadowing. The one I'm wearing, though, it's dark enough to where it's, dark on white, so whatever. But it makes me think of just any home opener when you finally get to see the home jerseys and all the lights, all the bells and whistles that goes with that stuff. The home jerseys are great and forever going to have great memories of them. I don't take it for granted. I love it every single time.
That's great. No, you can't go wrong with the Blues here. My favorite jerseys the Rangers have ever worn have already been mentioned, so I tried to keep my poker face on before. The Heritage jerseys. Those are my favorite jerseys they have ever worn. I love the darker blue. I love the New York across it. I wish they would bring those back. I have two. I have a Lundqvist one from back then, and I had a Brassard one too. I love Brassard. So those are my favorite jerseys they've ever worn. And that's not to, like you said, I think you did a good job mentioning with the home and the away. Those are beautiful, but I don't know, just something about those Heritage jerseys, man. They just they aced them. They absolutely, and I love the cream collaring on them and the cream, it's the more of the cream, which you're wearing kind of on your jersey now. It's not a classic white that they established in 1926 on there. They had the retired jerseys underneath. I just thought they were money. I think they should absolutely bring those back. That should be the permanent alternate in my book. I like those. I like those even better, 100 times better than the original Liberty. So those are to me, those are the most simultaneously classic, but also new version of their jerseys. Those are my favorites. I love those jerseys. I wish they would bring them back.
I agree.
Wish they would.
They must have just taken him away to just signal in this new era of Rangers.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's got to be something. And like I said, once again, those were Reebok jerseys. Adidas takes over, so you got to wonder if there's copyrights there. But I don't know. The Rangers have the same jersey forever. You'd like to think the Rangers have those rights. So who knows? Contracts are messy.
So, like I said, April 22nd, the Rangers play the Flyers tonight. Let's see if the Flyers are still a mess. I'm sure they are. So we'll see what happens. But episode
episode six in the book.
So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.